at least for a little bit, to give you guys directions. Oh, I have that one too. Hired, apparently you and me have, the same kind of taste.
Really?
So, what are we doing today? We're gonna do pretty much the same thing every single day. We're gonna start off with the sorting activity. I actually really like doing the sorting activities to get an idea of what you guys know and what you guys don't know. So we might actually keep this going throughout, our time together. I actually really like it. It's a nice little like activity to do at the very beginning. After that, we're going to be working in our notebook. We're going to do pages 3 to 5. And then we're going to do a homework assignment. You're probably not going to have time to do it in class, but it's only 3 questions. And I will show you guys how to do that in a little bit. Yeah, I know some of you guys are having internet issues. Thank you for letting me know, though. I do like to know who's having internet issues because it's a day-to-day thing. It's not like consistent. Um, but if you guys are having internet issues, and it gets annoying, just wait till the video is out and then you guys can just watch the video. You've already been marked as here. So at the very least, you guys will get that. Um, um, so we're going to be in Google Classroom. We're going to go into classwork. Right above where your exit ticket was from yesterday, click on linear versus exponential, sorting graphs and tables. Okay. Now, here is the part where I'm still having some of you guys, not very many, but there's a couple of you guys who are still having this issue. Miss Gomez and we type in our name. You guys need to click on login. And once you click on login, you go to open with or continue with Google. And then you're going to write down Yahida, or not Yahida.brown. Don't do that one. You don't know my password. So click on yours and it'll open it up in Google for you guys. However, again, Ms. Gomez and I have teacher accounts. We don't want to, log into ours. So that's the reason why we use our own, name.
We're gonna check the homework. Your turn.
From yesterday?
Yes.
Or for today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, you can see if you guys got them right. Like we can check for you guys later. Normally I don't look at them until notebooks are due. So some of you guys were submitting notebooks yesterday. You don't need to do that until notebooks are done, which is at the end of Thursday, unless you guys finish early. So I've already gotten a couple of people submitting their notebook. So, and they've done it 100% correct. So that might be you. All right. It looks identical to the one from yesterday. You have your linear function box. You have your exponential box. And then you have your hints. It says this box should contain 3 pieces. This one should have 3 pieces. And the directions say sort the pieces below as linear or exponential by dragging them to the correct box. There might be some that are neither that will be left out of the box. So there might be some that won't fit either one of these. So that is what you guys should be working on right now. I'm going to give you guys the length of a song to do your work. Other than that, and then we'll check it both together. Any questions before we get started? Again, I will be checking to see who's logging in so that I can make sure that you guys are actually logging in with your district account versus just typing in a name.
Doc.
Yeah, some of you guys did this yesterday.
Oh, did they?
I had a couple.
Oh, wow.
Alondra, was that what you were going to say?
No, the homework from yesterday, we had to have turned it in specifically yesterday, or can we just turn it on Monday like everything else?
You should have done it yesterday because it's only 3 questions. But it's fine if you turn it in Monday.
I forgot about it, even though I even stayed after class and I knew we had to do it because you literally said it right before we left and I completely forgot about it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So
Okay.
I'm gonna pause the Zoom recording. So welcome back to YouTube land. Looking at the options that we have, let's talk strategy to help each other out. I have graphs and I have tables. Looking at both, it keeps loading. Yeah, some of you guys, for some reason, ClassKick is acting a little weird. Again, worst comes to worst, guys. Once I have this up and I say, okay, you guys are good, take a screenshot of it and you guys can move your pieces later. All right. But it's basically, yeah, hit refresh a few times and you guys should be able to switch over. Iron, are you switching?
Oh, I think she might be frozen.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. So looking at these, which one is easier to find out if it's linear or exponential? Is it graphs or is it tables? Can anyone let me know? Which one's easier to know? Graphs or tables? Graphs, yeah. So let me pull up all of my graphs. And then we can sort them out. Tables for you, really?
Interesting. That's good.
Okay. For me, it's graphs because I can like just see them versus having to work them out. But if that works for you, awesome. That's actually great because some people really are bad at tables. Like I will be honest. I made 2 mistakes today and it wasn't on graphs, it was on tables. Because I was going too fast. So we're gonna go through these one at a time. You guys will tell me if it's L for linear or E for exponential or N for neither, because we are gonna have some that are gonna be none, all right? Or just say none, whatever. All right, looking at this graph, is this one linear or is this one exponential? Can anyone let me know?
Exponential.
Exponential.
Good job.
Yes. So this one is might be a little bit tricky just because it is, well, A, it's kind of blurry. But it's very close to a straight line. It is not, but it's close. But even though it's close, it has to, there's still a little bit of a curve. All right. What about this one?
Linear.
This one would be linear because we have a straight line.
Good job.
What about this one?
Neither.
Neither. So some might be like, wait a second, but it curves. There is a curve, so shouldn't that count? But because it curves like this and then down, this doesn't work. All right, this is a neither for right now. And then you guys will be dealing with these a lot in the next couple of years. So you have fun with this guy because I don't want to have fun with this guy. So yeah. What about this graph? Is that linear or is that exponential?
Yeah.
That one's linear. Why? Again, because we have a straight line. What about this one?
Exponential.
That one's exponential, again, because we have that curve. So again, little by little, we're taking one step at a time to try and get you guys to, separate these two facts of this one's for linear, this one's for exponential. This is for linear, this is for exponential. And I like the fact that we've been making those distinctions, and I feel like it's been helping you guys make those distinctions because you guys aren't having as many issues as I've seen in past years. So let's do tables. Remember, for linear, we're looking for either an adding or subtracting pattern. For exponential, we're looking for multiplication or division. All right. So multiplication or division. Ms. Gomez, did I already make you co-host?
Yes, you did.
Oh, woohoo. And I don't even remember. All right. So, we're going to look right here. I want to know, is this linear or is this exponential?
Exponential.
Okay, so yes, it is exponential. Why is it exponential? Can anyone tell me what the pattern is?
You're timesing it by
Be-
3.
We're
Because yeah,
multiplying it by 3.
Multiplication.
Good job.
Yeah, dude, you guys are like fighting each other for it.
I know.
All right. All right. There are, I will warn you, there are 2 that are tricky. All right. What about this one?
You're
None.
multiplying it by 2.
Neither.
So this one is tricky because if you guys aren't really paying attention, you might be like, oh, this is adding 20 because 10 plus 20 is 30 and 30 plus 20 is 50, but it doesn't work for the 1. So this would be a neither. So it doesn't work. All right. So pay attention, even though it works for so many other pieces and not 1, that still matters. And it's going to like break the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
What about this one?
It's linear.
Linear. Can anyone
You're
tell me the
adding by
pattern?
2.
You're adding by 2.
Adding by 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Awesome. What about the last one?
Neither.
none.
So none again. If we were trying to look for a pattern, again, not all the time does it have a pattern and just one thing breaks. But this one, it could have been, we could have been dividing by 2, but this 48 messes that one up. So if that wasn't there, then, you know, we could be dividing by 2. But because of the 48, it breaks everything. Can I hear you? I can hear you. I could hear you a couple of times when you were unmuting yourself, but since other people are talking at the exact same time, it's drowning you out.
It's because I think, it's because my camera isn't working.
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
All right, for those of you guys who are having internet issues, by all means, take a screenshot right now. So that you guys can do this in a little bit. I am going in right now and giving points. Make sure to go into Google Classroom and mark this as done. So it does not count you guys just like putting your hand up here. It doesn't just count that way. You have to come in to Google Classroom and mark it as done. All right. I don't get notified when you put your hand up. I only get notified when you're doing the Google Classroom one. All right. So make sure that you guys are going back into Google Classroom and marking it as done. All right. Before I give up control, I want to show you guys your homework for today. Obviously, you know, put in your first and last name. I'm going to hit next. And we're talking about this today in class. We're looking at this graph and then figuring out which equation goes along with it. All you're gonna have to do is just tell me A, B, C, or D, which one it is. There are only 3 questions. So that's 1, 2, and 3, and then you're done. If you do the assignment and you don't get a good score, some of you guys are like just throwing in random answers because we haven't done them yet. And getting a score of 0, go back and fix it. You guys can always re-click in here and then redo the questions that you guys got wrong. But other than that, well, no one's done that in this class, but I've had it done in other classes.
Doc,
Yeah.
for this assignment, we have to show our work, right? For the homework?
For this one, no. Just because, ugh. Hold on, let me put my random letters again. You'll see when Ms. Gomez shows you guys how to come up with the equations, there's really no work to show for doing these, right? There's no real, I mean, you guys can show like some of your steps on doing it, but I'm not gonna require it to get credit for the homework. Okay?
So you should do work on a separate piece of paper to find the 2 steps we need, but you're not required to submit the work.
Okay, so, and then, just like we did before, you guys had a progress report on Friday. I'm gonna give you guys another one today. When I post it, do not go into it right away because it does take a while for it to upload the blank page and then for me to upload the picture of your progress report. So I'll let you guys know when you guys can do that. And then your PBIS lesson is already here. If you guys want to get started, one of you guys already turned it in. And you don't have to wait until tomorrow to do it. You guys can do that today and not have to worry about it. All right. But take advantage of tomorrow and do some of the assignments that you guys have on your progress reports. All right. And I'm giving it to you.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and share screens. Okay, so everybody should be either already have opened up their notebook, but if you're not sure where that is, go ahead and click on classwork. Your notebook should be under week 4. And somehow I can't find it. Oh, view more. Yeah.
I hate that button.
Yeah. Go to where it says notebook here, click on that, and click on the ClassKick link. Again, we're going to go through this again. Log in. Once you hit log in, go ahead and log in with Google. Okay, I will not be doing that, but you guys have to. Brings us to our notebook. And we are working on pages 3 through 5. So this is where we're starting at. So this is what you guys have been wanting to do since, I think, Friday. Writing equations, not just of linear graphs or linear functions, but also of exponential functions or graphs. So we're finally at the point where you guys get the equation of an exponential function, and all you have to do is take your 2 steps that we've been working through and plug them in. Okay. So give me a thumbs up as soon as you guys are okay on ClassKick here. If you're having connection issues and you can't follow along with us, that's okay. I'll let you take screenshots once we're done with these pages. Okay, good. I'm going to move on to my presentation here. Okay, so today is day 11 and we're still working on your linear versus exponential unit. Remember, we started looking at tables, their patterns, and how to find the y-intercept. We then moved on to looking at graphs, same 2 steps, looking at that y-intercept, finding a pattern or slope, okay? Because we've slowly been having you guys work up to these equations. We are talking about equations today, and we'll go ahead and start with the objective. So after today's lesson, you should be able to write the equation of linear and exponential functions. So for those of you that were trying to get ahead and kept asking us, what's the equation? What's the equation? You're getting it today. But we're going to start off with some review of your linear equation. So you've seen this time and time again since you started this quarter. It is just y equals mx plus b. So you've seen this before. You know that we only plug in values for our m and for our b here. So any of you that remember, let's talk about this b here. And I also color coded these just like yesterday. So take a look, we still have that light blue and we still have this magenta or pink color to match what we were doing yesterday, the 2 steps. Our first step was this light blue. What were we doing here in this light blue step? What does it mean? You can unmute yourself or type it in the chat. The blue.
Initial value.
Yeah, good. The initial value. Or, as soon as it comes up, here we go.
Y-intercept?
It's the, yeah, good job. It's the initial value or the y-intercept. Remember we looked at that graph, that little blue dot on the y-axis, that was our y-intercept. That number is what we put in here in the back. That was our first step. So just like we've been doing step 1 and step 2, we will be doing that today. Our step 1 is to find that y-intercept. Okay, now when we have a line, our second step was this M. What does this M stand for? Do you guys remember? What is that? You were right. It could have been 2, but I heard slope.
That was me.
Oh, good job, Hiron. It was slope. Or the other way that we talked about it, the other name it had, that constant rate of change. Okay, but slope is correct. So we can also call it slope, which is our rise over run. What about when we look at our tables? On our tables, we're looking at our addition or subtraction pattern. So all of these pieces are finally coming together for you guys. This is more a review. Your y-intercept goes in the back here. Your slope or your pattern is going to go in the front here. One thing you want to remember, and we've been talking about this over and over again, your x is next to your slope. Never forget that x, otherwise it's not a linear equation. So your x has to be next to your slope. Okay, we're going over to our class kick notes. We're going to go ahead and drag our pieces. Go ahead and drag over your objective at the very top. Our objective is to write the equation of linear and exponential functions. Okay, on our linear equation side, the b is our initial value, which is also known as the y-intercept. The little blue dot there. The m is the rate of change, which is also known as our slope. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had some interruptions. Okay, it's our rate of change and our slope. Bring that over. And our slope, rise over run, but when we're looking at our tables, it's also the addition or subtraction pattern. So all these pieces are finally coming together. So Cassie, since you like tables, okay, when you find your addition or subtraction pattern, that's what's going to be our slope here, our rate of change. But remember, we had to take a step in our tables to go backwards. We needed that 0 value. Okay, we need to take those 2 steps to find each of these here. Okay, now what you guys have all been waiting for and what we've been holding back from you is the exponential equation. I'm already getting direct messages about the exponential equation. Okay, so this is finally your exponential equation. It's y equals a times b to the power of x. Hiron's missing our equation. Okay. Before we actually get into these pieces, I want you to remember that y equals mx plus b is our linear equation. Notice that our x here is right next to m. They're at the same level. Okay, in our exponential equation, our x is not next to a letter, okay, and it's not at the same level as these letters. It's an exponent. So it's the little number that should be on top of another number. So when we write it, you should start with y equals a, and we'll talk about what that is in a bit, times, and notice I'm not using an x for times because that x is a variable here. So don't use times for x, use your dot. A times b, and look at this x, it's the little exponent on top, okay? That is the major difference. Here, they're at the same level. Here, x is the exponent. It should be written on top of our b value, our base, and we'll talk about what that is in a bit. But big difference. So when we're working on the your turn, you're not going to want to type it out. Unfortunately, we can't make that x the exponent when you type it out. So what you're going to want to do is just actually write it in with our pencil option. Okay, so let's move on. Remember our steps. Our first step was always to start with the blue square, looking for that blue dot. Okay, this blue matches our other equation here. What do you think the A is going to be? Is it going to be the constant multiplier, your pattern, or is it going to be your y-intercept? What do you guys think? Or initial?
Y-intercept?
Yeah, good job. So A here, it's in the light blue, just like your light blue dot on those graphs, is our initial value, or what we like to call the y-intercept. Okay, we're still matching these colors so it stays consistent for you guys and it doesn't complicate it for you. Okay, so that was our first step when we had an exponential function to look for the y-intercept. Our second step was to look for the pattern, which we called constant multiplier. And you have to remember that was our multiplication pattern. Okay, so major difference, I wanted to make sure you guys see that x written very tiny on top of this constant multiplier, your pattern. But when we're looking at linears, same level next to each other. Okay, let's go over to our class kick notes. Let's take these pieces over. Initial value, that is our y-intercept. In this equation, x is the exponent. We don't want to leave that next to a number. Make sure you put it on top and a little smaller than usual. B is your constant multiplier, which is just our multiplication pattern. We are still taking the exact same 2 steps as yesterday. Our third step here is to just put those into the correct spot. Okay, I am going to go ahead and zoom out. If you were not able to follow along with us and drag the pieces over, I'll let you go ahead and take a screenshot of that. So take your screenshot now. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. Give me a clap if you need more time. Lots of thumbs up. Okay. So on the next page, we are going to be writing your equation. So let me go on over to our presentation here. We're going to be starting with the linear equation. So our linear equation is y equals mx plus b. Now, notice how I put this graph under a linear equation. Why am I saying this is going to have a linear equation? What shape does it have?
It's a line.
There you go. Good job. Remember, anything that is a line, we know it's linear. Now, when you follow this line, is it increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing because it's going down.
Good job. It's decreasing because it's going down. Perfect. Good. Okay, now that we got over that, we know we're writing a linear equation. Okay, our first step, remember this from yesterday, you guys did an awesome job on these. Our first step is to find the y-intercept. Look at the color coded. What is our y-intercept?
7.
Yeah, good job. This little dot right here, that is our y-intercept. They're both blue. Remember, we're looking at that dot on the y-axis. That is a +7. And it is important to write down that it's a +7 because sometimes we will get some negatives on the bottom. So in this case,
And
our y-intercept is 7.
the slope is going to be negative because it's going down. If you read slope.
Yeah, good job, Hiram. Okay, our second step is to find our slope. Same steps as yesterday. Okay, Hiram said if we write the word slope, that word slope is going down.
It's going to be -1/2.
Good job. Which tells us it's a negative slope. Okay, for those of you that didn't catch that or weren't quite sure where that came from, your rise over run is your slope. Hiram said it is -1/2. So take a look at 2 points. Any 2 points you want. I picked this one and that one here. Rise over run, I'm going down. Went down 1. I am running 2. Okay. When we go down, that should be a negative number. If I go to the right, that should be a positive number. So our slope is -1/2. So now that you have the 2 pieces you need, go ahead and put those 2 pieces into the correct spots of that equation. And is there anybody that would like to tell us what the equation is? Or you can also put it in the chat. What should our equation look like?
-1/2 x plus 7.
You got it. Good job. And I love that you didn't forget that x. We need to make sure we have that x there. It's -1/2x plus 7. So let's make sure we put in that y equals -1/2x plus 7. Remember, if this was a negative number, we would have written a negative, a minus. But we do have a +7, so it should say +7. Good job, you guys. Very, very good. Okay, let's move on to your class kick notes.
Ms. Gomez,
Yes.
I think our graph is different.
Oh, it's different by 1 dot. This one doesn't have a little dot, but I did that on purpose because I wanted to make sure you guys were looking for the dots that were closest to each other. Remember that? If we don't look for dots that are close to each other, we
It's
have
going to
to
be wrong.
simplify. We have to simplify, which is an extra step. So see, if I'm going down, there's a perfect corner there. If I keep going down, that's a perfect corner. If I keep going down, that's a perfect corner.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that you're going to get the wrong slope.
Mhm.
It's just that you're going to have to simplify. So you had to set, like someone unmuted themselves and said, oh, my slope would be wrong. Not wrong, just you would have to do more work. And who wants to do more work?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm including these dots here, but in some of the worksheets that we start getting in the near future, the dots might not be there. That'll be your job to look for those perfect corners and find the closest dots to each other. So I wanted to give you some practice here. But if you do not find the dots closest to each other, it just means we have to make sure we simplify that fraction. Okay, so I actually want you to go in here and draw in that you're going down 1 and you're running 2. Okay, get in the habit of either, if you went backwards, then we went up 1 and you went -2. So we still get the same thing. If you decided to use the points that were far away from each other, you probably got -2/4. So you probably got -2. Sorry, -2/4, which just means we have to simplify that by 2. And that gives you a -1/2. And that's what happens when you pick points far away from each other. Try to find perfect corners that are close to each other. Okay, let's go ahead and drag those pieces over, but I'm very glad you brought that up. Just prepares us for when we don't have dots close to each other. Our y-intercept is at positive 7. Our slope rise over run is equal to a -1/2 or -1/2. And your values, first step, put in your y-intercept in the back. That's a +7. Second step, put in your fraction right next to the x. So I would say practically everyone's an expert at linear equations now. But we get to have some fun in the next one, the exponential equation. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you guys are ready to move on. Give me a clap if you need more time. Again, if you're having connection issues, I'll let you take a screenshot at the end. Okay, I'll give you some time.
Can I take a screenshot? I'm having the internet problems.
Yeah, okay. That'll work perfectly. Okay, I will move on to the presentation, and once we have that exponential side, I'll let you take a screenshot, Hiring.
Okay.
All right, here we go. The exponential equation, remember, y equals a times b to the power of x. This is our y-intercept. This is our constant multiplier, which is our pattern. Now, let me back up a little bit. By looking at this graph, I should know it's going to be an exponential equation. How do I know that this will have an exponential equation? Look at your graph. What tells us this will be exponential?
It's a curve.
Good job, it's a curve. Look at the shape. It's a curve here. It's going to be exponential. Okay, we have a graph. Let's start with our first step. What is our y-intercept? Good job, Alfonso. It is 5. Look for that blue dot. That blue dot here is at 5. So our y-intercept is at 5. We just found a. You already have part of your equation. It's a. Okay, our second step was to find our constant multiplier, our pattern, and we had to look at our y's. So follow your line from left to right. Our first number here on our y's is 5. Keep going up. Here's our next dot, match it to a y. Our next number is 10. Follow it up to our next dot, matches to 20. So our y's, we have 5, 10, and 20. And I'll give you guys some time. What is our pattern that gets us from 5 to 10, from 10 to 20? And remember, we said it's a multiplication pattern since this is an exponential function. Good job, Jessica. Yes. Anybody else want to try? You can either put in the chat or... Yeah, good job. We're multiplying by 2 each time. So 5 times 2 gets us 10, and 10 times 2 gets us 20, which tells us our constant multiplier is 2. 2 steps, and you have an equation already. We have our y-intercept is 5. Our constant multiplier is 2. So
Can I tell you the equation?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Is there anybody that wants to try giving me the
It's y equals 2, then the multiplication, and then 5x, or powered to the times of x.
5 to the
All
power
right,
of x.
okay, you're so
That.
close. You're so close. Take a look at the placement.
Right
Look,
equals 5 times 2 to the power of x.
yes, there you go. And I believe that was Alondra earlier, right? A is in the front. First step, 5. second step 2 is in the back. So you were so close, you just switched those. But I love the way that you said power of x. That's exactly how you say it. Y equals 5 times 2 to the power of x. You
I
guys-
didn't like that because of the other one. Because
Oh,
otherwise, because it's mx plus b, so I got confused. So I just figured that it was like the same way.
yeah, no, and that could be tricky about them, but this is why I color coordinated them. A, blue in the front, B, our pattern in the back. They do switch there. Okay, but notice how our pink is with the X, it's just an exponent here. Okay, let's go on over to our class kick. And take those pieces over. Our y-intercept was at 5. For our constant multiplier, remember we have to do some work here. Get your y's. We have this y here is 5. Move on up. We have this y here is 10. Move on up. We have this y here is 20. That's where we get our y's. So we'll go ahead and take our y's, and we notice that our pattern was to multiply by 2 each time. Will there be any exponential equations with numbers as exponents? Okay, good question. No. When you're writing an equation, okay, we should never have a number up here in the exponent. We only do that, a little preview, next week. We only do that when we're evaluating functions. Okay, when we evaluate functions, we do start putting in some numbers here for x. But
Yeah,
when you are, go ahead.
That's why I was like, now you might see, again, preview, you might see the B be the X with an X with a number for an exponent. That's something completely different. So that's not the same. So
Let me write it here. I don't
good
know.
questions, guys.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Let's say I give you something like this. Some of you might say, oh, that has an exponent. Isn't that exponential? No, remember what I keep telling you, x in our exponential equation is up here. It's not below, it's on top, the little number on top. Some of you might say, but that's an exponent. No, no, no. That you'll see in math 3.
Yeah.
Okay? That is not an exponential equation. That is a quartic, well, something else. You don't have to worry about it now. But if you see this, that's exponential. This little number, this little x is the exponent. That's how you know that's exponential. Nothing like this. Good question, Jessica. I love that you put that up.
Wait, Ms. Gomez.
Mhm.
Now I know why it's exponential, because it has an x exponent.
I love that. Yeah. X as the exponent. Good job. Okay, drag the 5 over in the front, A blue in the front, and our pattern B in the back. Okay, so good questions, you guys. Okay, I know some of you were having internet issues, so I will be zooming out here. There we go. Go ahead and get your screenshots. For those of you that were actually working along with me here, give me a thumbs up if you're done and ready to move on, or give me a clap if you need more time. Okay, I'll give you more time. So same 2 steps as yesterday, we just added on the writing equations part today. Okay, if you gave me a clap, give me a thumbs up as soon as you're ready, so I know that we're ready to go. So you guys were taking baby steps, but now we're at math 1 level, writing exponential equations. That's hard stuff. Not a lot of people can do that. You guys are doing awesome.
Yeah, compared to my students from like years before, this is like, you guys are making this look easy.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So we're moving on to the your turn where you actually get to practice. So take a good look at this your turn here. We have 3 questions. First one is a graph, and the last one is a graph. Okay. In both of these graphs, we've been taking 2 steps, finding our y-intercept, finding our pattern or slope. Okay. We practiced those 2 steps with our tables, but this was last week. But when you work with tables, and Cassie, I remember you said you love tables and you know how to find out if it's exponential or linear. When we have our tables, we can still write equations for those tables because we can find the pattern and we can find the y-intercept. Okay, so for now, if you guys are looking at that table and are a little too worried about it, I don't want you to focus on that one. What I do want you to try is this first one, the graph, and this last one here, the other graph. And if you do finish those, or if you're brave enough, you can go ahead and try the table. Same thing, remember, and I'm gonna help you guys out by writing them up here. If you have a linear graph or a linear table, your equation should be y equals mx plus b.
Miss Gomez, are you gonna help us with these? Like after we do them on our own, are you gonna go over them with us?
Yes, you're gonna do them on your own. I'm gonna give you some time and we're gonna check your answers. So I'll give you
Are
time.
you gonna go over all of them or only some of them?
I think we have enough time to go over all of them.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say we don't. The main one, if you could go over number 2.
Okay, sounds good. So y equals mx plus b for linear, and y equals a, remember initial value, y-intercept, times b, your pattern, to the power of x. Don't type these in, boys and girls, because you won't be able to type in the exponent x here. Just actually write them out. Okay, go ahead and work through these. 1 and 3, work through those first, and then we'll come back to 2. But if you finish these ahead of time, try number 2. Remember, you just have to find out, is it increasing or decreasing? Is it linear or exponential? If you see it's linear, then this is your equation that you need. If you see it's exponential, then you're going to be writing this type of equation. And I know you guys can do it because I saw your sorting activity and you guys were putting those tables in the right spots. Okay, I think we're going to play 2 songs to give you guys some time, and then we'll come back and check your answers and we will work through 2.
Yeah, and I'm giving you guys your progress report. So you should have seen that it went live. Do not click on it. It's blank right now. And I will call out your name when you guys can actually like go and look at that. But since we're going to be listening to music, I'm
Times the dot, your pattern there, 1/4 x. Okay, this one here requires the extra step of finding your y-intercept. But it's the same thing as your graphs. You're trying to find a pattern. That pattern is going to let you find your y-intercept. Alondra, do you feel okay with the tables? We're going to work through tables more in the future, so don't worry, we'll come back to these. Let's move on to this one. We have a couple minutes left. Number 3. What did you guys say? Is this linear? I mean, is this increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Good. Oh, that's the highlighter. Is this linear or is this exponential?
Linear.
Good job. Okay, that means we're looking at this equation, y equals mx plus b. Find your y-intercept. That's your first step. What is our y-intercept here?
3.
3.
Perfect, right here. So we have our y-intercept is 3, positive 3, so we can put that at the end. And your slope. Look for 2 of the closest points. Here's a corner. No more corners until here. Anybody have that slope?
3/4.
Yeah, perfect. 3/4. We're rising up 3. And we're running 4. Rise over run. What does our final equation look like?
3/4 x plus 3.
Yes. Do not forget your x. 3/4 x plus 3. That is your final equation. I saw a lot of you got this linear one correct. I saw a lot of correct answers here. I saw a lot of you giving me the 1/4, which I thought would be the part you guys would struggle with, but you did really good. A lot of you gave me the 1/4. Some of you were not really giving me the y-intercept yet. I think you guys were probably still working on that or waiting, which is fine. Okay, we're all done for your turn here. Okay, before you're completely done, don't forget you need to write reflections. I am going to zoom out here in case you guys were not able to work on this. You guys can go ahead and take a screenshot of that. Work through it, work through them, see how we're working through these. If you guys already memorized y equals mx plus b, you want to start memorizing this one, y equals a times b to the power of x. You guys are doing great so far. And I love that you guys were working through this table. That's some review from last week. But with the 2 minutes left, I'll go ahead and hand it back to Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I forgot that I paused the video until halfway through you doing 2. So I was like, well, YouTube land, you got the last half of it. And you guys can at least see it. So don't forget, guys, you guys should be doing your exit ticket. If it shows up as late, it's not that big of a deal. Also, I already gave you guys all of your progress reports. Go through all of that and just make sure that you guys are like finishing up your stuff. So take advantage of tomorrow. There is no assignment other than the PBIS lesson. You know, get your stuff done. A lot of you guys are fantastic. Some of you guys have like already done the assignments for later this week, which is great. Some of you guys, I have yet to see an assignment turned in. All right. So you guys need to get moving. Plus, I now have a record of, I'm giving you guys progress reports now probably twice a week. Probably today. So on Mondays and Fridays, you'll probably be getting progress reports so that you guys can see, you know, what you have for the whole week and then what you guys can be doing for the weekend. So Tuesdays and Fridays are probably going to be the times that I'm going to be giving you guys those progress reports. And it is worth points. You get 1, but 1 point each time does add up. So, you know, don't forget to do those. There is tutoring if you guys want to come for tutoring. Most of you guys like are doing fantastic. So if you guys want to come after at 12:10 for tutoring, by all means, come and join us. Assignments done. Yes. So some of you guys are like, what do I do now? Once you're done, do not turn in your notebooks. If you guys did it, unsubmit. I forgot that I need to add a couple of things for Thursday. So we have more notes for Thursday. I just haven't put them in yet. So don't hit, turn in. But other than that, have a good day, guys. Everything else can be turned in, just not the notebooks.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Doc.